Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for this week's question and answer video. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there. I hope you were able to see your family, had a good day. If not, I am terribly, terribly sorry. Doesn't mean they'll all be like this. Hopefully they get better. I'm answering you guys' questions from last week's question and answer video. I encourage all of you, please, to go down below in the comment section, ask me questions, tell me where you are, tell us your locations, please. If you can, let us know where you are. Be general about it. If I forgot to answer your question or I missed it, I didn't see it, something like that, please ask again. I encourage you to please ask me anything at all. Okay? All right. So let's get into the questions, which are really good, as always. First, I want to say, if you haven't already, please consider supporting my petition. I made a petition last year called Stop Online Narcissistic Bullying. It's for all the narcissists that are online, giving people crap, bullying them, causing young people to take their own lives, stuff like this. Please consider signing it. It's global. All you have to do is leave your name and check it. Thank you very, very much. And again, leave us your locations, please. Thank you. Loved by God always. These people have no conscience whatsoever. They do not care. They believe the reality that's in their brain. Don't try and talk to them about it, or you will go round and round. They do have somewhat of a conscience. And Cami next. Those who share important information, help others without reward, are true heroes. What a fantastic channel. Sending love and light from New Zealand. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And thanks for telling me where you are. Emily from South Africa. Hi, Emily. I went to a church cell group barbecue to try to be more social. Good. But the people talked over me while I was having a conversation with them. They didn't even look at me while I was speaking to them, and it felt like the group bonded by excluding me. Harsh. I'm sorry, Emily. I'm going out of my way to try to meet people, but then they just treat me like this. It feels like every time I'm in a group setting, people do this, and they smile while doing it. So I know that they are doing it. They may not, Emily. I'm not trying to stick up for bad behaviors. I'm just trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. Let's try to do that, okay? And I'm not saying they didn't, or that they don't know. They may not. I do everything I can to listen to people, and then they don't care when it comes to me. I'm really sorry, Emily. I am. That's terrible. Don't give up, okay? If I could give you any advice, if you want advice, if that's why you left this, if I can give you some, talk louder. Try to talk louder. And when someone, and for all of you, when someone cuts you off, keep talking. Don't stop. Don't let them. It works. So if you're talking about something, they just cut you off, you just keep talking and talking and talking and be the one that doesn't stop. And if they just keep doing it, obviously, then you know that they're doing this on purpose. It's a joke. Groups of people can be mean. They can be mean without conscious of it, without knowing it. They want to bond and things like this. And it's easier to stomp all over somebody if nobody says anything. And in a group setting, a lot of people don't say anything. But if I could just give you that recommendation, Emily, you're a great speaker. You're a great talker. You're a little quiet. In a group setting, I could see how people would just look right over you, talk over you. Don't let them, okay? You start with something you're going to say and try to say it in a group faster than you would one-on-one. Get your point across. Say it loud. And if someone cuts you off, just keep talking. And I was just doing this. Please let me finish, okay? You got to take control. It's not fun if we're not used to it. The more you do it, the easier it gets, I promise. Okay? Don't give up, Emily. Okay? I'm really sorry, though. That must not feel good at all. Hi, David Healing Family from California. Hello, Healing Family. Thank you to Dio, Lisa, and Jessica as well for their donation. All of your donations help so many people heal, including my little family. That's nice of you to thank people like that. That's great. Thank you for making this possible. Thank you, David. I can never stop thanking you for what you do. You make a ginormous difference in people's lives. Best online coach in the business. Well, thank you for your opinion. Thank you. Another question regarding the weird, odd things my undiagnosed BPDX fiance would do. As getting to the parking lot of our destination, I would barely be getting out of the car when he was already long gone, missing and already inside the store. Like a child. And borderlines and narcissists. Toxic people are infamous for doing this. Or just walk in front of you the whole day, right? You're at a park, an amusement park or something, and they just walk in front of you all the time, not with you. Yeah. He would never wait for me and our babies. He would just disappear, and I always had to go look for him. Can you explain this a bit further? Second question. Well, you know, when you have a family with a borderline, you have children with a borderline, they are just one of your children, literally. And you know, just like a sibling, just like when, if you guys are the oldest, or if you have younger siblings, if you remember when they were coming and mom and dad tell you, hey, you know, you're going to have a little brother or sister soon, and you're like, oh, sweet, that's so cool, God, you tell your friends and stuff, and then when the baby finally comes and mom and dad's attention is all on the baby, you're kind of like, hey, what about me? I don't want that. I don't want another sibling fighting for attention and stuff like this. Borderline's just another kid. They get envious and jealous of their children, you know, just like their siblings. Yeah. And they act like children, and they need to be, and they parentify you, and you have to keep them in check all the time. You know, impulsive, no respect, no emotional connection, extremely narcissistic, grandiose, entitled, like a child. Yeah. Second question, out of nowhere, he would reach his hand out and like play tap, gentle smack on my mouth or cheek. He would do this to me and our little kids. I would tell him to stop. Let's see, go to the next page here. I'd tell him to stop, that we didn't like it, or he would stop but continue the next day or days after. I would tell him, we don't like that. Can you please stop doing it? And he would say, sorry, I won't do it again. Of course, he would do it again the next day or following. These two things went on for years. That's creepy and weird. What would he do? Why would he do these things? One of the first questions I remember you ever asked me a couple months ago or so was about the poking and tapping and the hitting and stuff like this, the smacking, and oh, I'm just kidding, and I'm just kidding, and I'm just kidding. You know, you could use this as like a way to bait someone, right? If I just poke you and push you, I'm trying to get a rise out of you. And once I get that emotional reaction, now I feel like I'm in control of you. And they are, really, right? If I can make you so upset that fast, and so scared that fast, and so happy and satisfied, and then, you know, crazy, and yeah, and I can just sit here and do this to you, I'm in control of you. And that's what borderlines want. They have no control over themselves. They can't manage their own lives. It's the ultimate codependent on steroids, and they're going to try to manage and control your life. Poke you and prod you, bait you to get a reaction from you. It's wrong. You don't put hands on people. If I went up to someone in public and did that, I could go to jail for assault. And we don't let people do that to our children. And if someone apologizes for something and does it again, it's manipulation. And that's why when we have apologies from people, they must be sincere. What is a sincere apology? To acknowledge what they did wrong, to understand how it affected you, and to tell you, I will never, ever do that again. That's how you hold yourself accountable, the appropriate apology. But that's what we demand from others. And they have to know that that is never allowed again, and that would be a term. And whenever we set a term, what is the repercussion? What happens if they break that term? Is it over? Do you give them one more chance? 2 more chances? We've got to know this. We can't just go as we play, you know, and see what happens and just, oh, it's okay. Oh, it's okay. Okay, well, I got relief for a day or 2, and now they're doing it again. Oh, God, and then you get emotional reaction, and then we get to the point where we don't want to even react anymore because we don't like how bad it feels and what they end up doing, and so we just play along and let them sit there and abuse us. That's abuse. Okay, it doesn't matter how hard I do it. Right? It's not a measure of, if I go like that to you, that's abuse, right? What if I just go like that? It's abuse. If you don't want it, it's abuse. I'm really sorry. I am. Mimi Reese 220 from Michigan. Hi, Mimi, if that's your name. I always thought it strange that my XNH never talked about his childhood memories. Now I understand that the disorder affects the part of the brain responsible for memory, and they have no inner child. Do other survivors out there notice this? They don't talk about their childhood, parents, lessons learned, etc. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're reacting to what I said, but, and yeah, they could definitely have memory problems, for sure. Trauma does that. Blocked memories, things we don't want to remember. But a very highly narcissistic person that strives for perfection, stuff like this, never tells you how they really feel inside. Can't touch on shame, can't apologize, things like this. Typically, they reject their childhood because every narcissist's childhood was awful. It was awful, and it could be masked by an abundance of attention and physical needs met. But the mental anguish, neglect, creates a lot of shame in that child, and they don't want to be that child, and they want to be this ego. They won't do anything for themselves inside. It creates insecurity and shame. Okay, so it's very common for a highly narcissistic person to reject their childhood, and these are the people that grow up not liking children. I'm very suspect when I see adults say that I don't like children. No. Like, who does that? I was just watching the other day, Bill Maher. No, he hates children, he said. Hates. I guarantee you, he didn't like being a child. If you always felt bad being a child, you always felt less than, right? You're always less than the adults, and you finally just want to be an adult and not a stupid child anymore, and then you hate children because the children associate with your childhood and you don't bond or connect, don't want anything to do with them. Who can hate children? Amazing. Crazy to hate children. Thank God he doesn't have any. Thank you, Anna from Croatia. Thank you, Anna from Croatia. I can't find my own past comments, but it wasn't on your Q&A vid, sorry. It was about the general non-BPD perspective. Question, Dwight Schrute mode. Since I have the identity issue, I'm constantly trying to find out what's going on. What's it like to have identity? What does identity mean to you? Why would you say yourself or other neurotypical people you know have identity and what to do with it? Specific scenario. You break up with someone, lose a job, need to move to another city, get into some kind of trouble where a borderline would disintegrate because they don't know who they are anymore. We bind identity to the thing, favorite person. How do you navigate life with this? Integrated internal self-reliance, which has to do with having identity. I hope it's clear. You find it interesting. If not, never mind. Sad. I do find it interesting. So a lot of questions in there without going specifically to each one. We don't necessarily find identity in others in our life. Now, there is a part that we do, right? I could be a husband, I can be a father, I can be a brother, a best friend. That's a part of my identity. But there's no part of this person's identity that becomes my identity. And it's normal to mimic it and mirror people a little bit in public. I think we all do that. We catch ourselves saying something someone else might have said a while ago. It caught on to us. We like it. What do you identify with first? When you see someone else, what is it that you identify with them? Because the very root of it would be, like if I tell somebody, if I drop you into a little village somewhere on the other side of the world, you would identify with your race, your gender, your age, right? Just like you would identify with a human being more than a cat, hopefully. Okay? And so we start with those base identifications, right? And then we expand. So who do you want to be? I think is more important than what we identify with, our identification, our identity. Okay, think of identity as more as what we are. But then we have a true authentic self in here, and that's who we are. And that is something we decide. We don't necessarily define our own identity all the time. Right? I can't help that I'm white, that I'm middle-aged, that I'm American. Right? But what's more important to you in who a person is? And start to see these similarities, things you like about other people. Not what they do, but who they are. The kinds of choices and decisions that they make. So it's good to know who you are first. It's know what you need. Know what your emotional needs are. Yours are, not someone else's. What are your emotional needs? Figure it out. Start working on that and seeing what you need. Start thinking about what you want in life. Do something to get you closer to that. We'll feel better. Get your needs met. We'll feel better. Learn what your feelings are, what your body is doing, what the emotions are going on in your body and what they're called, and learn how to make yourself feel better. Know what you value and show that all the time. This is what's going to make you have a stable sense of self rather than just worry about identity. Much more important, okay? I hope I helped you a little bit. but you can hire a professional to help you with this. And thank you. Emily from South Africa again. Hi, Emily again. What is the main difference between borderline and histrionic? Well, there's not a main difference. There are very distinct set criteria for diagnosis. There's 9 for each one. So you've got 9 traits here and 9 traits here that are a little different, okay, with overlap. They could have a couple of each. I would say the biggest difference that stands out to me, getting to know people with this disorder, is the center of attention. Now, the borderline wants your attention all the time, don't they? All the time. Even when you go to work, they hate it. Yeah. But they don't want to be the center of attention in a room necessarily. They could have massive social anxiety. They don't want to be put on the spot. They'll get quiet, clam up, they might leave. They might start problems. That's stress, okay? The histrionic has to be the center of attention all the time, and the second they aren't, there's a huge, huge problem. Huge problem. Sitting in the middle of the room, look at me, dressing sexy, wearing red to a funeral, or wearing the all white to someone else's wedding, and stuff like this. All the time, attention all the time. They want their therapist's attention all the time. They'll dress sexy to do that. They'll try to date them. They'll have sex. They'll have sex and date people that are unreachable, untangible, unattainable. That's the word I'm looking for. So they'll go to try to have sex with a priest. You know, the priest's like, no, I took a vow of celibacy. Oh, I know, but I really like you. Don't you just want to try one time? They'll do that. They'll have sex, try to have sex with your husband, with the owner of the company, and they're down here in the scale of the company. Just constant attention, like a baby, like a child, all the time. And the second you go to someone else, whoa, you love her? You dating her? You had sex with her? And then they'll meet someone, and it's like, oh my God, this is my best friend, and we met 5 minutes ago. I know, but I'm just loving you. You're amazing. Histrionic. Walk in the room and start shit right away. Hey, here I am. I would say that's the main difference, Emily. Thank you. And, second part of your question. A therapist I have been to suggested I be friends with another person she is currently seeing as a client. Is this a bad idea? Yeah, typically. Typically. I'm not saying it's impossible for you guys to hit it off and be good friends or lovers or get married or anything like that. I'm just saying. Not a good idea, and I wouldn't suggest professionals doing that. Once that both of you are not their client anymore, maybe you can make that suggestion. Okay? I'm sure your therapist has good intentions, and it might totally work out. I don't think it's just quite a good idea. I've done that once. 2 girls live in the same city, females, women, and both weren't seeing me anymore, and that's when I suggested. I don't know if that makes a difference, Emily. That's just a personal opinion. But if it's two of you that she seems are very nice to each other and would be very nice, could really benefit from a friendship because both of you don't have many friends in that town you're in or something like that. I get it. I get it. Like I said, he or she, your therapist, means well, I'm sure, and this might work out. I don't know. Just be very careful, Emily. Okay? Just be very careful. Go real slow. Whatever you decide to do with every relationship. Yeah. Sylvia from the United Kingdom. Hi, Sylvia. Thanks for telling us where you are. I have a question. Is it possible for someone to be on the autistic spectrum and also be a narcissist? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And we don't sit there and go, oh, well, you can't have one without the other. All it is you meet the criteria, that's it. You meet the criteria for being on the spectrum, you're on the spectrum. You meet the criteria for narcissistic personality disorder, well, then you have that too. Very common for one to look like the other. So I get very suspicious when the same professional diagnoses a client with both. I get very suspicious of that. And I've seen it. And I've seen antisocial and autism too. And borderline and autism. So it happens. The comorbid diagnosis does happen. Yeah. It would not stop. One would not stop the other, if that makes sense. Is this? Okay, here's my last comment. This is the comment of the week. From Courtney Miller. Says, you guys are on some apples and oranges type stuff. Narcissism is spiritual. That's why pinpoint where it comes from. What you guys need to understand, they didn't have narcissism in BC. She's meaning before Christ. We don't use that term anymore, but back in the days, the BC days, this is spiritual. Either you have a demonic spirit or you have the Holy Spirit. That's called splitting. No gray area. You're either evil or you're like a god. You're like the devil or you're like the god. Okay. And a lot of people don't know themselves, which gives them the spirit of Jezebel. So if you don't know that yourself, you have the spirit of Jezebel. And I'm guessing the spirit of Jezebel millions can have at the same time, which is a narcissistic spirit. All of you guys are wrong. That's a beautiful way to comment to everyone. You're all wrong, okay? And why are we all wrong? What do you have? What are you going to suggest besides your faith as being right? Because I respect everyone's faith, but you have to understand that faith is a belief without any evidence at all. None. I'm just going to take that leap of faith that someone else told me. Someone else told me, I read somewhere else, I'm going to believe that too, even though there's no proof, so now it's faith. So you're all wrong because of my faith. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work, guys. I'm sorry. And I understand having faith. I don't think having faith is a bad thing. I don't. Maybe even if you're wrong. I don't know. But it's just a really bad argument, Courtney, to tell. I mean, you say that you're all wrong. I don't know if you're talking about all 48,000 subscribers of mine, or just the people watch this video, or just anyone that believes differently than you. But to say that we're all wrong, and if you don't believe it, you're all demonic, and that's it, because of my faith, because I believe something without any evidence. Okay. If you believe in bad, you have to believe in good. Well, yes, and they both can exist at the same time, Courtney. Someone can do bad things and good things. Matter of fact, Courtney, someone can walk up to you and I together and say something, and you can think it's bad, and I can think it's good. Imagine that. Wow. Do you need an example? There are good entities out here as well. Well, that's good. Oh, again, all of you guys are wrong. If you believe in bad, you have to believe in good. The world is a contrast. Well, that's not contrast. You're saying either or. You're saying black or white. That's not, I mean, contrast, sure. Any gray? No, there isn't. There are good entities out here as well. There are just less of them because you have a lot of followers and people who don't know themselves. So now you're calling most people followers and saying they don't know themselves, that you know the true secret, and it's just faith. Just believe in what I believe in. I believe in what other people believe in. I'm going to believe in that too, and you should too. Why? Just because it works for me, right? You got to have something. You know what I mean? If I'm going to argue with somebody and say you're wrong, I'm going to back it up with some evidence. Yeah? Or a poll, a survey, stuff like this. You're just saying that most people don't believe in what you believe in, so we're all demonic because we don't know ourselves. And that's what you said. You said demonic, right? There is spiritual. Either you have a demonic spirit or you have the Holy Spirit. Yeah. Pretty judgmental. I'd hate to think that and live like that about most of the world. It's also called depression, by the way. And I wrote, that would require faith to believe something like that and doesn't explain much. The humans we are today have been evolving for a couple 100,000 years and have been extremely narcissistic, as we still are today. You are narcissistic, so how do you explain that? See, this is stuff that we have scientific background and proof of, right? Hundreds of years of studying this. topic. And you said that there was no narcissism in BC. That means just over 2,000 years ago, there was no narcissism. That doesn't, then why did it all just start 2,000 years ago? Narcissism, it's just weird. It just doesn't make sense. We know that narcissism is a general thing, general term. And we're all on the spectrum of narcissism. I'm sorry, Courtney, but we are. And I see narcissism in people all the time, and I catch it in myself. Yeah. We're all get a little ahead of ourselves sometime in life and are a little grandiose. Sometimes we're a little entitled, especially when we're children. All children are narcissistic. I guess in your mind, all children are demonic. I don't know. But my question is you are narcissistic like all of us. So how do you explain that? And you didn't. Let's see, here's your reaction, then I'm done. Why did you take my comment down? Because you know it's right. And you're talking about narcissism. I wasn't trolling you. We were having a conversation and you took my comment down because it made too much sense and you didn't want to get exposed. Exposed for what? And I didn't, your comment is there. That's how you were able to reply. Now that's narcissism. Okay, now I'm narcissistic. Looks like you have some work to do on yourself. When you're not a narcissist, you don't mind hearing the truth. All people with demonic spirits hate the truth. Okay, it's just gross at this point now, Courtney. You're being very judgmental and you're diagnosing people, right? You're saying that because not a narcissist, you don't mind hearing the truth. No, that's just your opinion. Your truth is your faith. You don't know. You just believe it. You have faith in it, but you don't know what the truth is. Okay? And telling everybody that they're wrong and you're the one that's right is extremely narcissistic. It's extremely grandiose. To go on a video on here and have thousands of followers and say you're all wrong, I'm right, and you're all demonic for it. It's pretty gross. And this is what I replied. This is my last reply. First, your comment is up. Second, you can't answer my question. Third, you are saying I have mental illness to make yourself feel better while saying you're just trying to have a conversation. That's a little passive aggressive. You suck at this, but feel free to try to give it another try. And you did, and it just gets better. Yeah, when your comments get gross enough, I might actually read them so you get all the attention that you're looking for. But you won't be able to bait me. My comment was deleted. You said that you have to have faith, and I said you live in faith every day. When you go to the store to give food, you have faith that the food will not be poisoned. But when you ask somebody to have faith in spirituality, they don't want anything to do with that because that requires having a pure heart. No. Faith does not require having a pure heart. Faith is hoping that it's true because it will benefit you. No one has faith that the world's all coming to an end and we're all going to be, punished and all this stuff. Unless that you're going to be saved, then that's where the religion comes in. Yes, everyone's going to be punished except me because I'm so divine. I'm so omnipotent. It's just gross. This is just gross. And no, you're comparing your faith with no evidence to trusting that your food's not poisoned. Why would you believe your food is poisoned? If I make my food and cook it and make it, why do I need to have faith that it's not poisoned? That doesn't make sense. You mean when somebody else feeds you, you just have faith that it's not poisoned? No, that's called trust, not faith. Big difference. You see the difference? Trust and faith. I trust this person's not going to poison me. I don't trust that you're right about all these crazy things you're saying about a God making us and we're really only a couple thousand years old and all this stuff. No, that's faith. Okay? This is a man-made term. It doesn't matter what we call it. It's a thing. And a man-made term about man-made behaviors. Mental illness back in the BC days, 1700 BC. Where do you get that? 1700 BC. They did not use medicine. Yes, they did. They used medicine back then. Yeah. People were healed without medicine. Some were, and some are today. But some were healed with medicine back then. I don't know how old you think medicine is, but it's older, I believe, than what you might think it is. Anyways, the narcissism is a demonic spirit. So now you're just calling some people with mental illness demons. And that's just straight depression. And you're extreme in belief. And the further, or the more extreme you get in belief, the further you get away from society. And then you're all out here all alone. And instead of trying to be a part of society, you try to get members of society to come out here with you. And that's a freaking cult. So you are more than welcome to join the rest of us in society if you like. And you're more than welcome to believe and have faith in whatever you want. But you're not welcome on this channel to judge all of us and tell us how we're all wrong without any evidence except your belief that we all need to believe in, or we're all demonic. It's disgusting. Go away. Thanks. Bye. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much for all your great questions. Please keep asking questions, okay? If you feel this video is beneficial to you or other people, I'd really appreciate you supporting this message by thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, commenting down below, share this video with somebody else. Okay, but most of all this week, don't forget to love yourself first. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. Bye-bye.